Say you are Rishabh Pant today, and you're so excited about the World Cup. You're thinking, right, I'm going to be there. I'm going to the World Cup. And there you are, you're hearing the announcement, and you're saying, no, it's not me. And now you're coming out to play for Delhi Capitals.
Look, it'll be an interesting day. I mean, knowing Rishabh Pant, and it's not the first time. I mean, yes, this is what public is seeing, because I remember being in Delhi only for 4 days when I was, coach there. In that team, there were people who didn't want him, and he wasn't picked. And he was around with that under-19 team, and I said, Rishabh, don't worry, you've not been picked, but why don't you come to the Nets? So he turned around to me and said, Paji, जब जरूरत पड़ेगी ना खुद ही बुलाएंगे. Sorry, basically he says, when they need me, they'll call me from home. Don't worry, I don't want to come to the Nets. He's that kind of a guy, and I think you'd probably see the best of him now. He might, blow it up one day. It might just, and he does it even before he wasn't picked. He's too good a player to have been left out, and leave that aside.
Would he be thinking, right, you haven't picked me, it's a provisional squad, let me just make so many runs that you got no choice?
That's exactly what I'd be saying. That's to create some noise.
Yeah. He will.
And that's exactly what I say to all players that get left out. Don't let it go silent. And the only reason it'll go silent if you don't perform. If you perform and go and get a 50, or you smash an 80 off 30 balls, the noise will travel. And you've got to remember that they're only preliminary squads. All squads that are picked now, we're all making a song and dance about the World Cup. They can be changed on May the 22nd.
Correct.
So you go and get 100, 100, 100. You go into the UK as a backup anyway. You've named as a backup. Now, if you go 100, 100, 100, the noise gets so much that people go, wait a minute, surely you should be back in the squad. So there's still an opportunity. Doesn't look likely, but whenever there's an opportunity, I will always say try and create noise.
Ricky Ponting said he'll play 3 or 4 World Cups.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about 3 or 4 World Cups, but he's made enough noise, like he says. It's got nothing to do with whether he's good enough or not. I don't see it that way. He's been your first wicket keeper. We've had chairman of selectors talking about wicket keeping. You've played him in the test matches ahead of everybody. He's scored test hundreds in England and in Australia, and not at a pace that Cheteshwar Pujara does. I can understand, you can differentiate that. This man is born in the era of limited overs version. His strength is this. So there is no way that he's been left out for the lack of skills. There is something else. Maybe the team management doesn't want a player like that, or you don't need him, because he's made enough noise. And
he's been laughing. Michael's been laughing ever since he heard that India haven't picked Rishabh Pant.
No, because it is a no-brainer. If Rishabh Pant is playing, I can understand tomorrow he's not picked for a test match, in spite of scoring those runs, and because he might not be keeping well or something. You not taking Rishabh Pant to the World Cup of 50-50, whereas he's been to England last year, he wasn't your first player, then he ends up becoming the player. He plays your test match cricket, and he's been scoring runs everywhere.
He's spun.
You haven't played him in one-day cricket because it's your problem. He's capable of playing. He's not a kid. He's been playing cricket for a while now.
Rishabh was born into the right era. He's a young chap, and the T20 game, the T10 game, 50-over cricket, just see ball, whack the ball. All right, he's going to make mistakes, but he was born in the right era. And I look at the Indian squad, I think they've picked a couple of players from the old days, if you know what I mean. It's an old school style of player, whereas Rishabh is the modern player. He is exactly what the opposing teams least like to face.
And mostly when you get left out in India, all I want to say is, don't worry, I think probably something's better ahead of you. Because this is the same country, at the end of this World Cup, if you don't have a good World Cup, suddenly you might say, oh, change the captain, change the coach.
Rishabh, skipper.
No, I'm not saying, but that's what happens with us at every World Cup. We plan everybody who plans Indian cricket started planning 4 years ago, saying MS Dhoni will not be the captain, he won't be around, let's change the captain. MS Dhoni is still around. Yeah. Then you said Ambati Raidu should not play, he won't be around next year. You didn't play him till the last 6 months. Last 6 months you said he was my main player. That is why when I had picked my World Cup 11 here, when everybody talks about it was 2 months ago. Indian cricket changes overnight. Rishabh Pant will be around for a very long time. He will be discussed for sure, I can tell you. Either it'll be something brilliant he's doing, or he'll be doing something stupid. But he won't go unnoticed ever.
Put him in at 4. It's all the greater. Put him in at 4. Change your squad. You need a left-hander in the middle.